guys, welcome to the TypeScript series. My name is Itisha. So if you are a JavaScript developer and you plan on to build more bug-free and scalable applications, then you must learn TypeScript. Also, most of the developers are now moving towards TypeScript, and it's also one of the basic requirements in web developer jobs as well. So in the first video of this TypeScript series, we are first going to discuss about the what, why and how of TypeScript. And if you plan on to follow me along throughout the series, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. So let's get started.
So what is TypeScript? So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript and it was introduced by Microsoft in the year 2012. So it's not a programming language that is built from scratch, but it is a language which adds in new features and advantages to JavaScript. And this also means that the code that you have in JavaScript is also a valid TypeScript code. But you might think that JavaScript was solving your purpose, then what was the need to introduce another programming language on top of it? Let's try to understand some problems with JavaScript with some examples. Say we have this example wherein we have this function called as add, which takes in two values or two numbers x and y, and in return it gives us the sum of those two numbers. Now in JavaScript, when we try to call this function with a number and a string, you can see what is the result. You are getting the result as to hello. And this means that even if we pass the value of y as a string, JavaScript allowed this and the code execute without throwing any error and gives the output as a concatenation, assuming that 2 is also a string. Let's take another example. Let's say we have this example in which we are trying to multiply null with a number. Then in JavaScript, it gives us the result as 0, which is not really valid. So the main reason behind this type of behavior is because JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, meaning if there is any code, then in dynamically typed language such as JavaScript, the data type of the variables are determined at runtime, that is when the code is running. And variables can also change their types during the execution of a program. While this sort of flexibility is good in some of the cases, but it can lead to runtime errors, and that was the reason why TypeScript was introduced. So TypeScript is nothing but JavaScript with types. So in between the time when you write the code and run it, there is also one more step involved, that is the compilation step. So in TypeScript, we need to explicitly declare the type of the variables, due to which the type checking is done during the compilation itself. And TypeScript is basically called a statically typed language, meaning all sort of type checking is done during the compilation itself, and because of this it's much more quicker to detect type error in programs during development, and it also leads to less bugs in our code. Now you can see that if we write the previous example in TypeScript, then in the compilation step itself it's showing us the error that argument of type string is not assignable to parameter of type number. Also in the next example where we were multiplying null with a number, you can see that it again showed us the error during the compilation time itself that the value null cannot be used here. So that's the power of TypeScript. Now let's see what are some of the major advantages of using TypeScript. So the first and foremost advantage that TypeScript provides over JavaScript is type safety. That means TypeScript basically provides us a syntax for types. The second one is strict null checks. As in the second example that we had wherein we were multiplying null with a number, JavaScript did not give us any error. So in TypeScript, it basically helps us to reduce the likelihood of null and undefined sort of related runtime errors. We'll learn more about it later during our TypeScript series, wherein we'll learn about optional chaining and nullish coalescing operator. Third one is improved code quality. So since TypeScript is statically typed language, and because during the compilation itself we are able to detect any sort of errors, so it overall improves the quality, contributing to less number of bugs in our code. So the fourth one is scalability. So as our code base grows and we start working on bigger project, then having a programming language that is able to check the types of the variables is really very important. The one is community support. So TypeScript has a large and active community, so you won't be having any problem finding solution to your problem with TypeScript as well. Now let's quickly understand how TypeScript actually works. So in TypeScript, we have introduced some additional syntax and features, but unfortunately these things are not understood by JavaScript engine. Therefore, TypeScript cannot be executed on its own by the JavaScript environment like browser, Node.js, etc. Therefore, first a compilation step is required to convert the TypeScript code into standard JavaScript, and this compilation is being done with the help of a TypeScript compiler. And this whole process is called as transpilation. So TypeScript is basically there to help you write better code. Now let's also discuss what all topics we are going to cover throughout this series. So some of the topics are going to be there that you would have learned in JavaScript, but here you would learn how to define the type of those things in TypeScript. And some of the features are going to be new that you would not be aware of but are introduced in TypeScript. So in the next video, we are first going to talk about the installation setup, how to install TypeScript on our local machine. Then we will talk about some of the fundamental types that are there in TypeScript. For example, the primitive data types, arrays, tuples, enums, functions, object types. And after that, we will talk about some of the advanced features that TypeScript provide. There we will learn union types, type alias, interfaces, nullable types, and then lastly we'll cover classes, generics and modules. So these are the overall topic that we are going to cover throughout this series. So by the end of this series, you would be able to confidently use TypeScript in your project. So that's majorly it about the introduction of TypeScript. In the next video of the TypeScript series, we are going to learn how to install and set up TypeScript on our local machine. So if you found this video helpful, do hit the subscribe button. See you in the next one.